I didn't post the one about the new feathered dinosaur. I'll do that tonight. My old computer died, a hard drive or something, so I had to re-look it up and get some new information, so I'll do it tonight. Just my luck. One computer fixed, next one breaks down. But all I want to talk today is something I hear a lot from the show, and I've talked about it before, the podcast, Quackcast. And this is something that I think a lot of religious and people just don't understand. It's something so simple, but nobody seems to really get it. And that is, the plural of anecdote is anecdotes, not data. And you seem to have that, we run into this so often that if a lot of people think something, or if a lot of people claim something, therefore it's true. If a lot of people claim to have seen God or seen visions of Jesus, therefore it's true. If a lot of people have made up claims about miracles, therefore it's true. If a lot of people think that homeopathy works, therefore it's true. But when we test these claims and look into them, they don't stand up. Yet people are so willing to accept just anecdotes and stuff. When Pat Robertson makes up a story about some miracle he saw, suddenly everyone just accepts it. I mean, he could be making it up, he could be wrong, he could be lying. The guy lies and makes up stuff all the time. Why do we trust people's memories and stuff? People see what they want to see. They make up what they want to see. Not purposely, but because they want to believe it so much. There was this example I think I mentioned last year on the Christian forums that kind of drove me up the wall listening to this. And there's this woman, she's talking about how she performed a miracle by speaking in tongues. And she had met this Chinese with Alzheimer's. This old Chinese person had nobody who could speak to her. They brought her from the old folks' home to the church, and she was seeing this old Chinese woman, and she goes up to her, and she feels the Holy Spirit telling her to speak in tongues. And so she speaks in tongues to this Chinese woman, and the Chinese woman just lights up smiling and nodding her head, and she took this to mean that she had spoken Chinese. Nobody was there to verify it, but she was convinced she'd spoken Chinese. Now, it's possible to happen, but the thing is, it's just an anecdote. And she wanted to see that. She wanted to be convinced it was true. You look at people with Alzheimer's, just talking to them, even if they don't understand, quite often helps. Sometimes you don't even know how much of what is getting through to them. Maybe they're hearing a granddaughter speak, or something like that. And that anybody that had done that could have just gone in and smiled. Or maybe she was just humoring her. There's a lot of things we don't know. But she was so convinced that she had performed a miracle. She didn't even stop to contemplate the other options, and when people pointed these out, she got offended. She got annoyed that they dared to question her, and she kept making up more and more excuses, and the story got more and more elaborate as people pointed out flaws. And this is how the human mind works. Our memories are incredibly inaccurate, especially the further from an event. So you can't just trust anecdotes. There's so many issues, like the tests done with homeopathy and other pseudomedicine. What we find out with even the placebo doesn't actually work. It doesn't seem to actually exist. What we find out is that people say they feel better, but all actual tests that can be done to prove whether it's actually true come out false. People use the same amount of painkillers, the same amount of breathing and movement of arm. They think, oh, this homeopathy is helping me get better movement in their arm. But when the arm is actually tested, it's got the same movement. There is nothing that happened. But people's perception was they're not actually better. They just think they're better. And so on. People will lie to themselves, or even lie out of kindness. People that when they take tests, for these things, they tend to say something happened and they're feeling better even though they're not. And you see this a lot because they see the same results on homeopathy when they're told it's true and when it's not. And when they're not, it's just, they're telling the doctors what they think they should have. And plus you're priming them to think this. If you're convinced that this thing's going to make your pain better, well, you're going to think your pain's better. You're going to convince yourself. And I'm going to find out how easy it is to actually remember the level of pain. Yes, you remember that your toothache was more painful before you took a placebo. It was definitely painful then. But after you take it and you think you're better, you don't actually able to tell if the pain's gone down. You're just remembering it was painful and now it should be better. So no, the plural of anecdote isn't data. So rate, comment, subscribe. let me know what you think down in the description box. I want to hear all your thoughts.